Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here again with SBR contributor Jordan Sharp, and today we're going to be looking at how those odds have been acting up for the game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing good, Dax. Thanks, man.
All right, man. So it's not the oldest rivalry out there, probably not the best one either, but I'll be damned if this isn't the hardest hitting and the most intense one of the lot. Now, as for the odds, a lot has happened in the last few days, man. I mean, when the line opened, everyone was favoring the Steelers by a measly 1.5. But so many people got on the Ravens at +1.5 that odds just flip-flopped completely, and now we find bookies favoring the Ravens by 1.5 up to 2 points, with the exception of 5 dimes that still has them at a pick'em. Now, I know that the Ravens have been quietly building up some momentum, which was coincidentally snatched from them last week with that loss against the Bengals. But to me, that just doesn't validate, that they now are being favored, especially at Heinz Field. Also considering the fact that the Steelers are winning the series between these two, 21-14, which isn't a big lead, but it does show some dominance over the years. Week 2, we saw how the Ravens actually schooled the Steelers 6-26, which was in Baltimore, and I'm thinking that the Steelers might want to repay the favor. Now, for the line, I'm actually completely lost here. I don't really know where this line is going to be closing at. Where do you think we're going to see it close before kickoff, Jordan?
Probably around 1.5, I think, in favor of the Ravens. It wouldn't surprise me to see some of these books that have, that have the lineup at 2 points to drop it maybe just a half point. If we get a little bit, of money coming in on the Steelers late to even this up, but already the money is pretty even so far. So I think that we saw a lot of early betting, on the Ravens, and then a little bit has come in on the Steelers so far. But yeah, I think those 2 points will drop down to about 1.5, though. Interestingly enough, on this game, once again, it seems like the theme for this week is lay off the spread because it's either so high or just had so much crazy line movement that you don't even want to touch it and go with the total here. This is the highest total that these two teams have had against one another in I don't know how long. Our matchups page, and if you go to the SBR page and click on the matchups page, only goes back 10 games, back to 2010, and no total even gets close to how high this total is. So I mean, once again, as we've been saying literally this entire week, probably a good time to lay off the spread and go with an over wager or something on this game, because this is a really high total, and it's there for a reason, because these two teams have never been more offensive oriented than they are right now. And as you mentioned, Pittsburgh put up an absolute duck of a game in week 2 against Baltimore on Thursday Night Football. They're going to want to get them back to that. And after the way their offense looked last week,
yep,
I would not be surprised if both of these teams were in the 30s at the end of this one.
I agree, man. I mean, hell, they beat the Colts last week 51-34, I think it was. And the way that the Baltimore Ravens lost to the Bengals, I mean, 24-27, that was pretty gut-wrenching, So, I mean, I'm looking at both sides of the ball right now, and I'm thinking that the Steelers do have the upper hand. I mean, they're playing at home. They're coming off that big win last week. I think that the motivation is clearly in favor of them. So this could actually be one of those traps again that we're looking at today.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just I look at it, and I'm like, when is the last time that you can remember that both Baltimore and Pittsburgh's offense were better than their defense? Like, you can't think of a time when that was happening, or at least that both of the, at the same time, their defenses are just so bad when they played one another, and their offenses were, pretty much clicking on all cylinders if you're Pittsburgh. And, the Ravens have been playing really well too, surprisingly enough. After the loss of Ray Rice, no one really gave them much of a chance. So, it is kind of a lower suspicious total considering the fact, but like I said, the spread is just too convoluted and crazy right now for me to really even consider it this week. So I think if you are going to play this game, I think the total is probably the best way to go.
I agree, man. All right, Jordan, as always, my man, it's a pleasure talking football with you, and I look forward to doing this again next week, man.
All right, thanks, Dax.
No problem. For SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.